Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Deep Dive Podcast. This is episode number 4. Tonight we are doing the tips and tricks for the newbies. Um, while we are waiting for some people to pop on, I will let them go ahead and introduce themselves and a little bit about them. Russell, you can go ahead and start.
I'm Russell Reynolds. I'm the founder of Beyond Life Paranormal Research Missouri, and we're part of Cold Spotters Missouri. I started investigating the paranormal at the age of 13. The group was founded in 2006 back east, and a branch carried over in 2012 here in Missouri, and we've been running ever since. The group back east shut down in 2016. I am one of the cousins of the late Ed and Lorraine Warren, John Zappis, Chris McKennell, Tony Sparrow, and Judy Warren Sparrow. So,
And where can they find you?
you can find me on Facebook at Beyond Life Paranormal Research Missouri, Cold Spotters Missouri. You can find me on YouTube at Beyond Life Paranormal Research. You can find me on TikTok, BLPRMO, and the same for Instagram, the same name.
Perfect. Welcome.
Yeah.
Miss Brandy.
Well, my story is I guess I would say typical for somebody who does what we do, I guess. I have experienced paranormal activity since before I could remember. My mother used to tell me stories and things like that of things that I would see, but she couldn't see, and things like that before I could even remember. I just grew up with it. It became a normal part of my life. It was a normal part of my family because everybody believed. When I started questioning why these things would happen, my mom's favorite line was, well, sometimes these things happen, is all she told me, So it was basically pretty normal, growing up. Through the years, I've been with different paranormal teams. I have branched out from the paranormal. Now I'm into the cryptid side, the Dogman, Bigfoot. So I do go out and investigate that. I also hold events with Haunted Souls Paranormal. It's a great group of people. Love them to death. They're my spirit animals, should I say. And you can find me on basically Blondes and Booze every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central on YouTube or anywhere podcasts can be heard.
Perfect. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Hi, Patriot Paranormal. Hello. Hello, everyone. Tim?
Yeah. So I am a part of Paranormal Girls, N Tim. I am the N Tim part of it. I've been investigating for 14 years. I got started with another paranormal group in Missouri, down near Branson, and they all moved apart. They all separated, went to different states. So we get together about once a year and try to investigate still together. I'm still in contact with all of them. They're all really, really good friends of mine. We work with the demonologists and other lead investigators. And matter of fact, in June, we're all going to get together and go again. We're going to go to the Garnett House down in Kansas. So looking forward to doing that. Brendan, I, and a couple of the team members have already been there. So we're looking forward to going back. I got started with being skeptic. I went to a investigation, so a town investigation, what I want to call a paranormal walk. I got to know the people that were there. I contacted them near Christmas time and said, "Hey, we're coming to Iowa. You want to do an investigation?" I got in a truck. There we went. So, and I've been doing it ever since. So one time I was hooked. I wanted to know about the paranormal. So here I am 14 years later, still doing it. And like Brenda would tell you, we go every day if we could. So they just literally, we investigate every day if it's possible. But it's nice to meet everybody here. I'm kind of curious to know who you are and what I can do, or questions you might have for me, or things I can help you with. So please, I don't have as much experience as Russell there, but I have a lot. So.
All right. Patriot Paranormal says, same. Look, I even learned how to do this today. I'm so excited. I learned something. All right. Kristen and James, you both can talk.
We are God Be Paranormal. We have been investigating since 2020. And then we just recently started our own team in July of last year. Our other team, we still collab with them a lot. We learned a lot of good things from them, the Elizabethtown Paranormal Society. We've just both always had a passion for the paranormal. And we actually got married at Waverly Hills.
Oh, awesome.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's cool.
It is.
I
All
think
right,
that you're the
Jane.
first that I heard about that. You're the first people I've heard that got married there.
We are
Right?
the only ones who have ever gotten married there.
There you
Really?
go.
There you go. See?
Like that definitely is like
Correct.
record book worthy.
Yes.
Like for real.
You might set a trend.
You might. James, is there anything that you wanted to add?
I mean, where do I want to begin, I guess? So I've been investigating the paranormal since, what did I say, 2015?
15.
Was kind of just doing it on my own, off and on. And then I met my wife, and she's into all the same spooky stuff that I am into, and sometimes more. And so it's just kind of been a match made in heaven, and we've been going out here doing weird stuff and creeping people out ever since.
Well, you shouldn't word it like that.
That is
Love it personally. I love it.
right. Yeah, that is awesome. Thank you guys so much for being on. Patriot Paranormal says great guest and very cool. And that was in response to you getting married at Waverly. So yeah, that's awesome. If you guys watching have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat or in the comments. We will definitely be asking the questions. Even if you have been investigating for a while, but you have a question about something, please feel free to throw it in. That would be a great. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of floored about getting married at Waverly. I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
that is so cool. I would have got a big old nope if I would have asked that. So he'd have been like, nope. All right, perfect. We will start out here, and each one of you guys can answer. What do you feel is essential when starting and investigating? And that's kind of a broad statement, but what one essential thing? Yeah. Kristen and James.
Sorry, I couldn't hear it. Our phone, the mic was off.
Oh, sorry. What do you feel is an essential, is an essential part when starting and investigating?
I think definitely do your research. Do your research about the location, do your research, and learn your equipment, like what you're using. That would be my tip.
For me, an essential part to begin an investigation would just be mindset. Kind of have expectations set, for what to expect, what you're kind of walking into, but also be ready to experience whatever may come your way and just be able to, mentally prepare yourself for what may be inside the building.
Or we may not come your way, depending on the location.
Right.
Brandy?
Well, with me, it's just kind of like you have to go wanting to have an experience. if you're not wanting to have an experience, nothing is going to happen for you, whether you're a skeptic or you want to believe, you want to have an experience. You've got to be open to that experience. I think if you close yourself off and feel like you're never going to see anything because the stuff is just pish posh, that it's never going to happen regardless. There are some people that are skeptics that see things and then they're like, they try to scientifically explain it off as something else. But it is an experience.
Sure.
They're open to saying, okay, well, if I see this, then I'm going to explain it. That, I'm going to debunk this. I'm going to tell you what this is. But I do believe that the open mind is a good thing in all aspects, being, like I said, a skeptic or not. But my other thing is I say leave the big equipment at home. Don't worry about that at first.
Sure.
Start off small. Start off with a little K2 meter, some dowsing rods. Start off with something small. Learn how to use those to begin, because once you start mastering the little things, the big things will come later.
Sure.
Tim?
I completely agree with everything everybody says. Be yourself. I mean, don't try to be something that you're not on YouTube and you think it's cool. Don't go experience it for yourself. Don't think what they see and what they give you is an actual fact, because I mean, people they go out for a week and they show you 35 minutes of stuff on television. Come on, let's get real. Be prepared, because you may go to investigation and spend 8 hours and nothing happens. That happens as well. Those things do. One of my biggest things I would suggest, or maybe thing, is go with someone who has investigated before and get a little knowledge and learn from them, because otherwise you might miss something, or there's something you may not know to do, or something you're looking for. So like everybody said, you're going in with some knowledge, you're going in with some research, but you're also going in with the ability and wanting to find something that is there. As far as that goes, those are my biggest things. I went with people who thought they knew what they were doing. We was in over our head so many times. It's outrageous, but so that's a hard way to learn. Believe me, don't do that if you can keep from it. So.
Patriot, we'll get to your questions in just a moment. They put in a couple. Russell?
For us, we're more of a residential investigation team. We go into people's houses. For us, for the initial investigation, is do your background work on your clients. Know what kind of medications they're on. If they got a history of drugs and alcohol abuse, or you don't know what your team's walking into. Team safety is the biggest priority, because you don't want to subject your team to somebody that's tripping on a controlled substance and you walk in that house and get killed or something like that. So you want to see what kind of medications they're on and screen them, background check them, everything. We even background check our members too to see what kind of history they got, because with us doing residential, you're going into somebody's house and don't go into somebody's house and charge them money to investigate. You're doing it. They're inviting you in to help. And like Tim and Brandy says, you don't need all that big fancy equipment. Your body yourself is the actual conduit for paranormal experience.
Absolutely.
Recorder. That's all pretty much. I mean, the equipment is good, but I mean, for residential cases and stuff, a lot of that is confidential.
Absolutely.
Yeah, relying on yourself. Oops. All right. How do you feel social media has shaped the way you are viewed as a paranormal investigator? Who would like to answer that one?
Oh boy.
I'll answer.
Okay.
Personally, for us, it's people, because I don't know if it's the same where you guys live, but we're kind of right smack dab in the middle of Kentucky. So we get a lot of people that think we're like devil worshippers, or that we're crazy because of the stuff they see online. So I think that's a big thing. People get like a negative view without actually knowing.
Correct.
That's true. That's true. You know, and I've ran across that too. I mean, they say that I'm going to HE double hockey sticks. You know, they all say that, and there's others that as soon as they figure out what you do, they want to get their story to you. They want to tell somebody, but they
Mhm.
can't tell people around them. So I am also that person. I mean, I've been called lots of different things, but I
Yeah.
feel that the biggest question I get asked is everything on the internet real? And I'm like, absolutely not.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like half that stuff is just AI, you know, and I said,
Mhm.
if you had a personal experience, I would believe you versus whatever somebody puts out on
Yeah.
that internet because I can't believe anything out there.
Correct.
Right, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. How this one will probably be for Brandy. How closely does the cryptid world intertwine with the paranormal world?
Goodness. Okay. So I have had an encounter and it was a very close one, and I'm not going to go into it. This is the wrong show for it. But I didn't see, from my own personal view, I did not see anything that would lead me to believe that this was anything more than something that was flesh and blood. But I've also seen out in the woods, I've seen many different things, such as like orbs, many different colors, strange shadows that aren't related to Bigfoot or anything else. They're just like masses of black shadows out there. I've caught EVPs out there. I have, you know, used a spirit box out there and was having a conversation with I don't know who. You know, it's just I think everything is intertwined. And that's my purpose in doing all of this is trying to find these puzzle pieces and put them together to get the bigger picture. And I realize I'm not going to be that one that's going to find this big picture, but I want to find that one piece that fits just so it'll help everyone else along the way going,
Sure.
okay, well, she found this. Now maybe we can add on to that and find something else. But I do think they're all closely related, very closely related.
Awesome. All right, Russell, this is for you. How many residentials have you found that have legit hauntings?
I would say about 50-50 or so. A lot of it is psychological also, and a lot of residential cases can be debunked with old houses.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
with I have a construction and electrical and plumbing background, so a lot of that stuff I'm easily able to debunk when I go into a house that
Sure.
doors open because of the change in the atmosphere and the weather is going to spoil that wood and change a lot of stuff and make the floor sound like footsteps. But I mean, there is some locations we have actually found stuff that it was maybe a former owner of the location that passed away there, and to them, you're trespassing. It's like you and I, if somebody broke into our house, what are we going to want to do? We're going to want to
Sure.
hurt that person, protect our property. Well, that's basically what they're trying to do. You come into their house and you start tearing the walls down, start remodeling, and that's what picks it up. And a lot of them aren't even there to hurt you. A lot of them are there waiting for family members, or they're just trapped and they don't realize it's on.
Sure.
And but I mean, we find majority of them, like about 50-50, are actual legit hauntings. Some of them are actually a lot different. It's psychological or past trauma that they're suffering with. We run into a lot of people with schizophrenia disorders, and it ties in with antidepressants and all that stuff. And high EMF fields in houses can cause hallucinations. We worked one case in Indiana where they were experiencing something in their apartment, and she swore she seen a little girl standing in the corner. Well, we had a DVR camera pointed in that corner. We left to go eat dinner. The client stayed there. We come back, and she swore she seen a little girl in the corner. So I rewound the footage, and there was nothing. She was on antidepressants, and she had high EMF fields in the apartment because the panel was actually right there in the kitchen. So it was just emitting
Sure.
a high EMF field throughout that whole bedroom, kitchen, living room. So a lot of that stuff can be debunked. So not all residentials are haunted.
Okay.
But it is a good thing that there are teams that are willing to go out and help them learn about that, because otherwise they honestly have no idea. Hello,
Great.
Gina. Thank you so much for coming in. Patriot, we love that we are called necromancers, and the church called for a 24-hour prayer vigil.
Oh my
Mm.
gosh.
Oh,
We've been called necromancers.
Yep, we get it too.
Like, yeah, like I don't
Yeah.
think anybody has never not gotten called that.
great.
I had to look it up though because I didn't know what it meant, and I'm like, oh well, I guess that's true. I mean, I guess that's what we are, but
Good.
it's definitely interesting. Um, Earlier we talked about doing research on a location and that stuff. Do you think it's wise to try to conduct interviews with either the person, like the tour guide, or other people that have had experiences there, to see what their claims are? Or would you rather just want to know the history, no claims, to see what you experience yourself?
Personally, for us, I think we just like knowing the history of the location, because sometimes talking to people can be a good thing and doing these interviews, but then on the other hand, it'll kind of skew your own vision of stuff. So when it's good to talk to people and kind of, especially if they're claiming it's like some super crazy stuff. But for the most part, we like to go in just knowing the history of the location.
Yeah, just some of like maybe a little bit of kind of like what's going on, but not enough to actually give us like recency bias when we go into these
Sure.
locations.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to kind of have an ideal of like just something about the kind of activity that does happen there, so we know kind of like what to watch out for and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But we don't ever try to get as much information that we let it take over our investigation to the point to where we're just chasing what everybody else has seen.
Right.
Sure.
It's more about looking for our own path and then later on collaborating or comparing it to everybody else's, see if we kind of got the same thing or not, or see
Sure.
where we veered off and that kind of stuff.
Mhm. I always had a theory that that people kind of are manifesting these things themselves. Of course, poltergeist. Of course, we as people are manifesting that energy, which creates that thing. But because you hear people and they talk about the woman in the white dress. Okay, always hear stories, and it doesn't matter where you are about the woman in the white dress.
Right.
And it's like, okay, the woman on the white dress is standing on the staircase every morning at 2 a.m. She's always there, 2 a.m. That's where she's at. So when people go into a location, they will stand there and just say, okay, we're going to see this woman in white, see this woman in white. And I always wonder if they're manifesting that or producing that energy for this thing to come through because they want to see it so bad that it does happen. And I just don't know if this is a true paranormal case or if this is something that they're doing in the energy they're creating. I spend a lot of time going beyond the ghost thing, of trying to find them in locations. Now I'm like, how does it work? Where are we getting this from? Where, how are they producing themselves? What energy do we create to make them come in? What do they need to become visible? And
Exactly.
and I'm thinking that a lot of this could be pareidolia is a good one, that if there's something there in the corner on the stairs, they might think that it's the woman in white,
Yeah.
and so that's what they say.
Mhm.
Or there's many other things. It's a very complicated process going through all of this, especially because of the evidence that we go through, also am on a show that's called Truth or Tinfoil, and we go through evidence all over the place, from audio, video, still photos, everything. And we're constantly trying to figure out how these things are coming to pass, and if it is strictly pareidolia in what we're seeing. It's kind of like again, about the spirit box. You hear something, but somebody standing right next to you may hear something else.
Sure.
So, yeah, I when I go in, I don't want to know the hot spots. I don't want to know, like, Anna shows up in the kitchen, or, I don't want to know names. I don't want to know male or female. I just want to see what comes. And then after the investigation is done, then I'll start asking my questions. Normally when we do residentials, we'll have somebody who doesn't even ghost hunt. They'll go in there, they'll do the interviews, and they'll take all the notes, and then they'll keep those until after we're done. So then we kind of get together after we're done and put it together to see if we've come up with anything that is remotely the same, which I think that's a great idea, because that way there's no contamination there. But yeah, I don't think, I like the history, but I don't like what other people have seen. It just doesn't, I guess it kind of messes with you a little bit, because you're expecting to see something and you're always looking for that, but you're not looking elsewhere around you to see if there is something else happening.
Yeah. It's like whenever your brain tries so hard to make something out of nothing, that if you go in thinking about something that somebody else has seen, your brain will subconsciously, whether you know it or not, start to produce like sounds, something to keep itself entertained. And in the process, you could get a false negative or a false positive for that kind of stuff. So it's always, like she was saying, it's good to go in and have a like a baseline, so that
Clean slate. Yeah. But what also, gets me a lot is we're talking about giving advice to newbies. I don't like to give them that, because they scare themselves before they even get in. So it kind of, they've already got that jump scare waiting for something to happen, and they end up the anxiety and the
Oh, she froze. Hopefully she can pop back. Yep, if you can hear us, Brandy, you froze. Okay. So that is, those are actual good points. She's back. Yeah. You froze on us, Brandy.
Yeah, I'm here. I know. I don't know what's happening. Every time I start talking about stuff like that, I don't know, the energy in this room changes and everything just spots and stops. Yeah, but it's just like they scare themselves silly. So they just don't want to do this anymore. And it kind of scares them away. And it's like, you don't have to be scared of this stuff. I studied demonology just to figure out what I'm looking at. I don't want to be a demonologist. I don't want to run into one. But if I do, I just want to go, nope, not today. Thank you very much. And exit. That's all I want to do. I don't want to deal with that stuff. I am not qualified. I don't want to be qualified. So I would never say to, somebody new, hey, go tackle the biggest, scariest one out there. I would tell them, hey, start with something small, something easy. And there's a lot of places out there like that. That are just real nice and calm, and you will see stuff and things will happen, but it's not like this big humongous jump scare that will just turn them off of the whole hunting. And I hate to keep talking, but we're getting older. All right, there's a lot of us that are like, we've got to pass this torch to somebody. And so I'm with people at events and things that are new, and just trying to talk them through it, going, well, this will happen, or something else may happen. This is all new territory. Every time you walk into a place, it's not the same thing every time. And, I just keep trying to get them to come in. We need more qualified ghost investigators out there to continue on with the stuff in the research that we're doing. So
Mhm.
I try to keep as many as possible.
So, with that, what do you think is what is needed, or what qualifications would ground them out to be a good investigator? Does that make sense?
I'm guessing just somebody who is passionate, somebody who feels like they need to find more, that they need to, they want to find out what makes everything tick and
Right.
and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of ghost hunters out there today that just do this for fun. They're not looking to find any answers. They're not, they're not worried about it. They're not doing residentials to help people. All they want to do is go to these big places, pay their money, have their fun, and then go home.
Yeah.
But for a good investigator, I think that their qualifications would be basically a focus for number one. I've had some that are just, they're here, they're there, they're everywhere. And you're like, you have to stop and slow down and look at stuff. I hate to tell them that ghost hunting is like fishing. You may catch something, you may not.
Yeah.
You've done wasted a whole night and you may get something.
Yeah.
But and dedication is another. I mean, you've got to be committed to it. It's just once you catch the bug, it doesn't go away, really.
It does not.
Anybody else want to answer that question?
I'm the same with Brandy. I agree with her 100%. We do the same too, and teaching new investigators coming into the field, they got to have the passion, the drive, the willing to learn, and actually listen and focus at what we're trying to teach them. I mean, you do get some that don't want to focus; they want to run around the location, or they're running around saying, "Oh, I got pushed," and they actually didn't. Just want to make that stuff up in their mind just so to see what we'll say about it. Like, oh, maybe they actually did, when they don't realize that us seasoned investigators, you didn't get pushed. We already know about the location, stuff like that. I mean, it's just to keep the drive and that passion going for these younger generations and teach them the right way. And they see on YouTube and TV. I mean, paranormal investigation is like the luck of the draw. You're sitting there in the dark for hours, you may not experience anything. A lot of times you end up falling asleep.
Yeah.
I may have, or I may have not done that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, I'm bad about it.
Who does it too? He fell asleep on a residential case. He sat on the couch. We were doing an EVP session. Next thing you know, you hear him snoring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You give me a good piece of carpet, I'll lay right down and I'll have my headphones on and, I'm live listening to everything. And I may have, a REM pod or something out and I will go to sleep right there.
Yeah.
Sure will.
Hey, Misty. So I know I told you guys to bring your tips and your tricks, and we'll get to a couple of those in a second. But I want to ask, if somebody says they want to get into paranormal investigations, do you let them know that there's a couple of different avenues because you have locations and residential? Or do you ask questions, well, what type of investigating do you want to do? How would you help a person that says, I want to get into it, and maybe they do want to do residential, but they don't know how to say it or whatever. Tim, what would you?
Well, residential, I've done many residential investigations, and one of the things that is hard to do, and like everybody talked about, the power of suggestion, they're telling you what's going on in their house, and then that power of suggestion starts getting and entering what you're thinking and what you're trying to do. But you also want to try to validate what's happening in their house for them, because most of the time they say they called you because everybody else thinks they're crazy and they want to find out what's going on in their home. They know what's happening, but they don't know how to go about doing it. So if you're going to start out doing residential investigations, I suggest you don't until you get a little more attitude or you're dedicated to what you're doing, because you don't want the liability of giving these people a false hope or being something that's not going to happen or is happening and you can't help them as far as that goes. Brenda and I did a couple residential investigation with some people down in Arkansas, and it's a learning experience because you're dealing with people you don't know. You go into their home, you're trying to help them do the best you can with them. You're trying to validate and help them understand what's happening in their house. So that's something you need to learn over time and get to figure out people. As Russell said, who are the people? How do they live? What's their house like? Who are, what's their life? What's their everyday routine? Those type of things. You don't know these people. If you're going to start out doing investigation, I suggest you do small places like Brandy was talking about. You go to these places that aren't really super haunted. Not everybody's having something happen every night, but you go in there with the attitude that you're going to learn something, and don't be looking for that big bang happen moment right now, because you're going in there. I want that ghost to scare me right now. That's what I'm after. Or I want to see this shadow. I want to hear a noise. I want something. Because if you do that, you're going to be disappointed. It may be the worst experience you've had. So now you're turned off by it. So go in with an open mind, go in with dedication. Like Brandy said, you got to be dedicated to do this. And after you do it for so long, like we have, you get to the point where you want to do it, because I want to. The 14 years I've been doing it, I still want to know how these things exist in our world. How do they stand beside us? How do they talk to us? How do they manifest? What do they do? And how are they there? Where my theory is, I want to know. I want to know where this energy is and why it exists there. And I want to try to communicate with it. We can see it, we can hear it, but we can't touch it. We can't reach out and say, hey, there it is. Because in your 3D world, peripheral vision, how does something walk by you, but you only know that it's there? How does that exist? So I'm like, and by the way, Brandy, if you want to go hunt the dog man or Bigfoot, please call me. I'd love to do that. That'd be awesome. That would make my day. But so as a new investigator, take it easy, take it slow, and learn. Actually learn. Go to places and learn what you're doing. And like I said to before, maybe take an investigator with you, that's someone who has been a ghost hunter, and learn from their experience and let them teach you before you try to do it on your own. You walk through a cemetery at night with a digital recorder in your hand, okay, so be it. If that's the way that it is. That's the thing I suggest. Take your time and want to do it. So ask yourself, why do I want to ghost hunt? What is my reason for doing this? What's your purpose? What's your whole drive to walk out in a cemetery or a haunted house? What are you looking for? If you're looking for the big bang, like these people run around and leave, okay, to me, that's a waste of time. You're not doing anything. You're just having fun for 10 minutes and out the door you go. Hopefully you're not running and fall down the stairs, but anyway, as far as that goes.
That would be a huge waste of money.
Yeah.
Kristen and Jans, what do you got?
So we've been on both ends of this. We were clients before we were investigators. And I personally, I've had 2 investigations. And one, and especially the first team that we dealt with, they weren't really into the residential stuff. So they came in and they didn't have the patience. They just wanted all this big stuff to happen. And I think, like, if you're gonna do residentials, you've got to have patience as well. You have to be open to helping people.
Mhm.
If you're just looking to get scared or, whatever, that's not going to be for you. To
Yeah.
do residentials, you really have to, like everyone else said, have dedication, have patience, because, sometimes these people, like, it's not necessarily paranormal and they need help with something else. So you kind of got to guide them or be that person for them. So,
I think I always ask somebody when they say, "Hey, I want to be an investigator." I always ask them, "Hey, are you broke? Do you want to be? Because you're gonna be.
Right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely gonna be broke." Because I mean, as much money as I spend traveling and going to these places, and then when you do residentials, it's all out of your pocket.
Yep.
You have
Exactly.
to do it. You have to do it for the passion and the love of it. You
Correct.
can't just do it halfway. It's kind of like, because it's expensive. It is very expensive.
Yeah, it can definitely get room, gas,
Yeah.
food, like all of it.
Yeah.
It's like
And
taking a
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah.
yeah,
Brenda and I,
and
we've traveled up to 8 hours to go somewhere to help somebody in the residential. So yes, it can get in your pocket and it can get in it pretty fast. But
yeah,
and so you don't want to me, you don't want to charge people for this because you're there to help them. That is your purpose. That is why you do it. Because you are dedicated, you're committed, and you're patient. I agreed. I should have said that too. You got to be patient with people. You really, really do. Because it's a learning experience. And after a while you get to where people I've helped the family 3 times. They trust me enough that I've been to 3 of their homes to help them. Whenever something happens, they live clear down by Springfield, Missouri. And I go down there. Now they're getting to the point where they let me stay in their bed and breakfast if I go there or whatever. They're really, really nice people as far as that goes. But you have to be, how dedicated do you want to be? I mean, when it comes to residential, how dedicated do you want to be? I mean, absolutely. Because you want to leave there with these people feeling safe to be in their home. You don't want
yeah.
you don't want them to fear living in their own house. That's why you do it. So yes, agree, Brandy. It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then residentials are, they're so much more difficult because you're dealing with something, some type of entity that does not know how to use all this equipment that you bring in, and it's kind of like dealing with a newborn baby here. You're just trying to figure
Yeah.
out what it is and how you're going to deal with it. And again, like we said before, you are not going to go in the first night and perhaps find out everything you need. It is time after time, and keep going to visit and visit and visit until you figure out what you're exactly dealing with. It's just not a one and done type of thing. You know what I mean? It takes time and dedication, and you just have to have it open for yourself to be available for it. Because
Correct.
once you start in with a family, it's like you can't just say, well, I don't know, and just give
Correct.
up. You just have to keep trying until you finally accomplish something or be able to help them. Now, in
Exactly.
your case, Tim, I know like groups all over the place. Like if I had somebody that's over on your side of the state, because I'm over on the other side of the state, I would be fine with that going that way. That's not bad for me. But to travel 8 hours, I know people all over, so I would perhaps call a reputable team elsewhere, which is it's fabulous to get to know a lot of people. And I'm glad I'm getting to
Mhm.
know all of you, so I can go, hey, I've got something for you, you know,
Correct.
so but it just, and that helps the pocketbook a
Correct.
lot,
Mhm.
to say,
Correct.
hey, I can't make it to Springfield, but I have, people on the other side, or I have people in Kentucky. I got people everywhere. So
Correct.
I have someone to call that can help you. And that happens a lot, especially with the show that we have. People do email us, they do call us, and they're like, well, we have problems. And I'm like, well, I can't make it to Wisconsin, but I got somebody for you.
right.
And,
And
yeah, and how this all happened was I worked with a demonologist who lives in Florida, and he called me to go to Missouri. So, yeah,
Arkansas, to go to Arkansas. yeah.
Arkansas. We was the closest one, so that's
Yeah,
how that
we
did
were.
happen. Yes, it did
But
Well,
I
happen.
am
Arkansas is not too bad.
I am loving like getting to know all of the other teams and like where they're at and stuff because of that. That will actually help a lot. So Vermont Spectre Squad, welcome. Hello. They said they're a small group based in Rutland City. They have Facebook and YouTube, and they've only been investigating in the apartment building where they live and in the local library, which was a jail and a courthouse. Mostly it's been her or their 3 adults and grandbabies at the library events. So, with that being said, do you think it's a good idea to investigate where you live?
No.
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 And
No.
why? Why would you say no? This is going to be a really good tip, you guys. So listen up.
Okay. 11. Okay. Short story. Long story short. Okay. So there are things in my home now because of what I do, the places I go, it is a constant. Now, the way it happened was I was not vigilant in keeping my guard up. Now, keeping your guard up means whatever it means to you, your higher power, whatever whatever you believe in is what you need to bask yourself in. Like, I am a true Christian. So my thing is I bask myself in the light of Christ. So I always have that around me. But I'm going to tell you that it doesn't always work because you may be busy and thinking about other things and
Right.
things might go wrong. Well, that has happened to me a time or two. And I've ended up with things in my home, which I have things in my home now, but I have boundaries set, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So I don't even know where I was going with this. I'm all thinking about all this other stuff that's why I'm having problems.
Well, you shouldn't investigate in your own home.
Well, yeah. And
Or where you
because I
live.
talk about this stuff all the time, I talk about it. It's like, this is my living, breathing thing. I do podcasts all week long and I just talk about it. So sometimes when, I get talking about the paranormal a lot, things get a little rowdy. There's banging sounds, there's walking. But I've had to set boundaries in my home. You're not allowed in any of the bedrooms or the bathrooms. The rest of the house, go have fun. I don't care. Just don't tear up anything. That's all I ask. And they usually pay attention to that. But I know all of us have been somewhere and have gotten home going, what did I bring with me?
Yep.
What has happened here?
That does happen.
And that's why I should say you should never give them energy in your home. If you want them to just kind of go away, don't acknowledge, don't talk to them, don't even, if they make a noise, just act like you didn't hear it. And they will lose that energy. But if you are focused and giving them that energy, trying to investigate in your own home, all you're doing is just giving them everything they need to be louder, to be noisier, to be stronger. So that's why I do not suggest doing your own home unless you have, something unruly, which then again, call us, all of us, because then that's a residential will come help you.
Mhm.
Correct.
Anybody have anything different?
No,
I mean, I
that-
kind of agree with that. 'Cause like I said, like we have been on the client side of things as well. So there was an investigation in our home because whatever it is very unruly. And, I've had to really set boundaries and be like, listen, you can't mess with my kids. You can't do this. But, even here recently, like, especially since we have started doing investigations more and, talking about it more, I have realized it has kind of amped up in our own home as well.
Yes.
So,
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes
Sure.
when you do the things within your house or within like the apartment building,
Mhm.
you can ramp up that energy or whatever without even meaning to. And then
Mhm.
that can create more issues and problems later.
Yeah, you can open doors that you don't know how to close.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Especially if
Exactly.
you're new, um,
Oh yeah.
and you're not very experienced in what you're doing. My team's been investigating since 2024, and I still consider us new. Like, we're still learning. We're not seasoned. Definitely not like Russell or like Tim. Like, we're still learning. So there's a lot of different things. Yeah. So, all right, Russell, give us a couple tips and tricks.
The main thing is like be yourself, be dedicated. Don't try to jump in head over heels in this. Learn from a team. Go with a team when you're first starting out. Get that experience before you decide to run a team by yourself because it's not easy being a team leader and running your own team. I mean, you run into a lot of difficult things when you're trying to start your own team and running it. I mean, one, you know how the paranormal field is. You got competition out there nowadays, and the drama's a big thing.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mind
I
open.
did not realize how much drama there was in the
Yeah.
paranormal field
There's a
until
lot.
we started our own team.
Hey,
Yeah.
my family's been dealing with the drama since 1952. So,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
but yeah, that's the main thing. Keep an open mind. Learn. Don't jump in head over heels. Don't think you're going to be this
Mhm.
big bad investigator that's going to go out and say, "Hey, I'm going to take on this big dark demonic entity to show that I'm bad."
Yeah.
Chances are you're going to get yourself hurt. You can get hurt in this field, and there's a lot of safety issues when it comes to that.
Yeah, you'll definitely get a rude awakening if you think that you're going to be the big bad
Yeah.
investigator and you absolutely have no idea what you're doing at all.
That is true.
Yeah.
And then work your way up.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Brandy, give us a tip and trick or tip, trick, whatever.
Okay, so my tips are always have a flashlight and have a backup. Always for safety reasons. Don't run. There's my second one. Don't do that either.
Right. Don't.
But my thing is think outside the box when you're doing stuff. You've got to really when you investigate, experiment. It's like, okay, so if this light is going off here, let's move it. Let's try it over here. Make sure that everything is going off because it is paranormal, not because of something man-made.
Mhm.
I say I experiment with sound. Sound is something that I'm working with now. I use singing bowls, tuning forks, tingsha bells, all kinds of stuff to put energy into the air because a lot of people are using like the Tesla balls and all of that kind of thing to create energy through electricity. I try to create it through vibration.
No.
So it's just kind of like
Good idea.
you've got to think outside the box because if it gets boring in there and you're watching the paint dry on the wall and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, come on. You know what I'll do? I'll just start singing a song. I will whistle. I will, yell out good morning, good evening, whatever.
Mhm.
Just something to change the atmosphere that you're in, to change the environment, something to get the staleness out and try to put more energy back in. And I always recommend for new ones to go in when you're feeling well. If you're feeling sick or you
Yeah.
have any type of emotions that are really uncontrollable, I went with a friend who was trying to get over some grief. That didn't
Mm.
work out well for her.
Yeah.
But anything like that, if you're not 100% going into a location, you shouldn't go at all.
Sure.
Mhm.
Sure.
That's good. That's good advice. Tim?
So one of the things I've always done when I go talk with people or go on investigation is if you feel uncomfortable in that building, you don't want to be in there, then let's take you out. Let's get you out of that building because why are you feeling uncomfortable? Even if you're feeling well, you don't feel right or something bugging you or you're feeling sick. Let's get you outside. Let's take care of that. Always investigate together. Always go together. Don't go all by yourself because you don't know what's going to happen. They don't want you running down the stairs and falling down and getting hurt or what have you to be that way. I was thinking of something else. One other thing, what was it? Those are big things. So to go with on what Brandy says there, if it's boring or if it's not happening, think about what their life was on a normal day. Talk to them like it's a normal day for them. Communicate with them on their level. Hey, did you cook a pie today? How was your day? Was it hot? I mean, talk to them in a normal tone of voice and try to communicate, because that may be what their world they're living in is a normal day. That could be all that it is. Because it don't always have to be scary. It don't have to be demonic. It don't have to be bad. It might just be they're there. And why are they there? So those are my
Perfectly
kind of
said.
tips. Yeah.
Perfectly said. Because I mean, how many times are you going to hear, do you know you're dead?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
come on,
Yeah.
are you a man
Exactly.
or you a woman? So the
Yeah.
questions I come up with are, do you like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
Yeah.
What's your favorite
Exactly.
ice cream? What's your favorite cookie? I mean, because I love food.
Yeah.
I'm a foodie. So those always come up. And depending on what type of era you're dealing with, what generation you're dealing with, is kind of like the answer you'll get. And
Right.
it's really a super, just think outside the box. Just
Right.
ask, I don't know. Do you wear high heels? Do you wear, flat shoes? Do you wear pants, or do you wear a skirt? Or that's my way of getting around. Are you a man or a woman?
Right.
So
Right.
that's that thing outside the box.
And I also like to use too. Do you have a story to tell? Is there someone you want to talk to? Can I help get a message to somebody? Is there someone out there that you haven't talked to in years? Try to communicate with them. So
Yep. Do you
Yeah,
have a message?
another thing he does is, if you don't want to talk to me, do you want to talk to Brenda? If you don't want to talk to Brenda, do you want to talk to Misty? Like
Perfect.
he'll go around the
Perfect.
group to
correct.
see if one of us can get a response out of it.
Correct.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's pretty good. All right, Kristen and James, lay it on us.
So mine would be, don't go in expecting it to be like everything you see on TV.
Yes.
Because
man.
I think that's a big thing, especially with a lot of new investigators. It's because, oh, well, I love watching this show or that show. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be like it is on TV. Don't go in here provoking stuff and bringing a negative attitude. Like, it's not going to be like you see on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
I guess if I have one to say, there's a saying in the business that I work in: nobody ever calls us to upgrade their equipment. It's usually because something's going on. It's just a good idea to always try to see it from their point of view, understand as best you can exactly what is happening without like taking too much of that and running with it. But I mean, nobody ever calls paranormal investigators because, they just want to see what they have to say.
Yeah,
They
they
don't
do.
want to.
Yeah.
They
I'm
don't
just
want
saying
to
that
call
because,
you.
Yeah.
well, we recently, because we have not done any residential as God be paranormal yet. We did with our other team, and it's something we want to do. But there actually was one that we were supposed to have a client, and come to find out, like, she had contacted like 4 different teams trying to get all of us to come out at like the exact same time.
Wow. Wow.
Because one team isn't sufficient.
I guess, because then, so the one team had gotten sick and they were like, hey, we're not going to make it out to you. So she had called us back and was like demanding that we come to her house that day. I was like, I'm sorry, like, we already had an investigation. So, but yeah, there are some people that do that. I will disagree with you on that.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
Mm.
I guess the other the other tip or trick that I have is just be a paranormal investigator and not a ghost hunter.
Yeah.
take it seriously if you're going into these kind of places. You don't know the history that you're dealing with. You don't know what the family's been through. Just try to be as open to the situation as you can, but don't be a ghost hunter where you're just going out here for the thrills and the chills of it all and just looking for that one quick hit and then bailing. Just you're there to be professional. You're there to help this person, or even if you're going and paying for an investigation yourself, like you're there for yourself. It's you still want to treat it like it's you are talking to the other side of the world, or to the other world. It's not something that a lot of people take seriously as it is, and it does help when you go in with that mindset to treat it as seriously as possible. I'm totally down with cracking up here and there, but just treat the situation with the respect that it kind of demands.
Exactly.
Forward, just be a paranormal investigator, not a ghost hunter.
Right.
And
100%.
the respect also goes as far as the location that you're at as well. You don't want to be doing any desecrating or damaging any locations that you're at. You want to be respectful of that location. Pick up after yourself. Don't leave stuff laying all over the place.
No
you know-
provoking. No provoking. That's
Yeah,
always
don't,
good one.
don't provoke. Provoking is not needed. We've actually end up getting more response doing it how like a lot of us have talked, and you guys can probably agree with that. When you go in and do be more respectful and just try to have that conversation or listening or whatever, you can actually have way more success than if you go in there thinking that you're the big bad ghost hunter that Russell mentioned and demanding this and provoking and all of that stuff, because it's not a win-win. Haunted Souls is in the house. Hello. So when you guys go, and we talked about equipment a little bit, and we are not, don't do a lot of equipment, like a recorder and maybe a camera, but with those things in mind, how much backup supplies do you carry, like extra batteries or extra SD cards or,
gosh.
because before you guys answer, I will tell you my first investigation that my team went on pre-Tim, I did not know any of that. So my camera was dead in 30 minutes. I switched out the battery. I got another 30 minutes. Like, my IR light died, my microphone died. Like, so how much of that? I would highly recommend a microphone to y'all, just because your digital recorder, your camera may not pick up everything.
Correct.
So that would be an extra piece, and they're inexpensive. But how much backup supplies would you suggest on taking? And so we have Winter Bros in the house. Hello.
In regards to, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That's all right. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in regards to the whole backup stuff, I would just say, just treat it like you're going on a hike. You don't have to pack a super ton, but it is nice to have an extra pair of socks if your feet get wet. It is really nice to have that. It doesn't hurt to pack a few extra granola bars, that kind of stuff. It's just, plan for the unexpected and hope for the best. It's if all your batteries die, you want to have at least another set if you need them, but you don't want to take the whole, Radio Shack with you if you got to go somewhere. It's, just pack lighting up the stuff that you'll need, and at least have a backup for the stuff that you have. would be the best way I would describe that. Just treat it like you're hiking. You know, you don't want to pack too much, but enough to get you through in case something goes bad.
Russell?
For us, we pack a lot of batteries, snacks, because I mean we're in locations sometimes that are over 12 to 13 hours long investigating residential cases because we may not have something going on the first part of the night, but later on we will. So you want to keep your electrolytes and stuff like that with you. A lot of batteries, equipment, SD cards, we keep a lot. Also cleansing stuff. We have a lot of cleansing stuff on hand because you never know what you're running into if you're going to have to do an emergency cleansing on yourself outside, something like that. So we keep an abundance of sage, holy water with us, less salt, that type of stuff. And some of your investigators get energy drains, so you need those electrolytes actually to help them too. So we keep an abundant amount of that. First aid kit's another thing we keep because wandering around in the dark, you get scratched on something or cut. You have that with you as well.
Okay.
I am going to say keeping hydrated and keeping nourished are really key elements on an investigation for us anyway. Just because if you do get into a situation where your energy is being depleted, you know, it's kind of hard to bounce back from that. Wendy Bros said, "We're here in spirit." If you're still here and you want to put your tips and tricks in the comments, go ahead and do so. Brandy, what
Yes.
about you? What?
Let me see. I have now started turning all of my equipment over to rechargeable. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. When I like say my flashlights are all rechargeable, I make sure I have 3 flashlights. So, and they're all charged, and I never carry all of them on me at the same time. I'll take one in with me and I'll leave like 2 in my vehicle. So if I run out of one, I can go get another one. Saves me a lot of money that way. But the things that I do have batteries for, I make sure that I have fresh batteries in, and then I have 2 changes. So, you know, that should hopefully, in normal cases, I'm not saying that's all, you know, all good, but normally that will last me, you know, for the duration of the evening. But, you know, like I have went into a location where I had all 3 of my batteries die within 45 minutes.
Sure.
So, I mean, all 3 of them died. So then I had to go back and get my other flashlight, which I carry cases with stuff with me all the time. And I had to get my car flashlight, the one I keep in my car in case of emergencies. I had to go get that one. So, you know, I guess I would just make sure that you're prepared because it will most likely happen in a location that is active.
Sure.
So it will happen. Something's gonna go. I you know, it could be your phone, it could be you know, your flashlight, it could be anything, but something's gonna go. So always have a way to either charge it or have batteries at least once, I would say.
Sure.
Well, the Winter Bros tip is headache medicine and closed-toe shoes. They learned that one the hard way. I bet that's an interesting
I
story.
would imagine.
We'll have to,
Amen. Yes.
I would
Yes.
imagine.
yeah, definitely.
And some
wear
Toms.
comfortable shoes, y'all.
And some Toms.
Yeah, Tim.
So I got 2 external chargers that I carry with me because I use them for my camcorders and when I'm walking around. My batteries, I don't have the best batteries in my camcorders, but I plug my external charger in, carry it in my pocket. I would kind of suggest if you want to carry some equipment with you, getting one of them vests, but don't load it down so heavy you can't get around. I mean, don't fill every pocket up because you think you need to. You can go to Walmart. I'll be like, Russell, go buy Walmart out full of batteries before you go if you want to. That's up to you. But the thing is, those are things that I use as far as that goes and try to keep as much charge in it. Those external chargers will last quite a while if you get them charged up well. They'll last like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. So they work very well. Batteries are always a big problem to take with you because they go dead. I mean, location 1, batteries might work all night. And if you can find a really good battery for your camcorder, please send me a link because they don't work with a crap. But anyway, as far as that goes, stay hydrated. You always want to take water with you everywhere you go, no matter where you're at, because if you're up all night, the last thing you need to do is be dehydrated. That's a bad thing to have happen with you. You'll get
Yeah,
cramps and
because
everything else and so forth goes on with you. That's to be prepared. As far as that goes, oh yeah, one thing I want to tell you is don't go into a building with no heat when it's 9 degrees outside and a foot of snow on the ground. Hint.
Been there.
We learned that the hard way.
Take that from experience. Take that from experience. Don't do that.
Yeah.
It's always
don't
colder
do it.
inside.
It's
Right.
not fun.
No.
The Winter Bros said, "Have a good night, guys." So thanks so much for joining in. Yeah, I have a digital recorder, and I can just plug it in to charge it, but like I very seldom ever have to charge it. Like I don't know why he's got the issue with the batteries because I'll go to plug it in before an investigation. It's like, oh, it's already charged, and I've used it like a gazillion times.
My
So.
digital recorder works. It's my camcorder that has a mess.
Oh, the camcorder.
Yeah, that's what it is. Sorry, my camcorder. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Do you guys document when you are doing investigations? And if so, how do you do it?
So
I tell you, hang on a second. I will tell you
Okay.
mental notes. You think you will always remember your mental notes, and it doesn't
yes.
work. It doesn't. Okay, go ahead, Kristen.
So we still being new to this for our own team, we don't document all our stuff like camera wise. Like we take EVPs and stuff, but we're not doing it for YouTube and stuff, if that makes sense. We're still learning all that.
Yeah.
But when we do have cameras or EVPs, one tip I'd give with that is document like noises that you've made, or make sure you're not whispering, things like that. Make sure to mark stuff that you know was you, so you don't listen later and be like, oh, what was that?
Okay.
Correct. Yep, absolutely. Tim or James, did you have anything to add?
No, I mean, that was pretty much good enough.
Okay.
I mean, I
Tim?
like it.
Yeah. Tag your audio. You hear a noise. Say you heard the noise. I heard it. Hey, you hear someone cough or someone stomach growl. Say that. Tag your audio that's happening. So when you go back and listen to it, you know what it was. That's one of the big things I like to do is tag my audio for that. Documentary wise, I've done a couple of documentaries. They're not easy. They're not fun. And you got to know how to put it together when you're done. So it takes a little bit of time to learn that. It's like being a film producer. You got to figure out how to splice it and do it as far as that goes. But to document what you're doing, you don't have time in the dark to write down everything on your notepad. I got one too. Don't worry. So I have a notepad too, but you can't write that down. You don't have the time to do it. So I guess trying to tag your audio, speaking as much as when something happens, I think it's one of the best ways to do it, because then you go back and play it. You know what's going on as far as that goes.
Yeah,
It helps you keep track of it. So
yeah, we always have camera rolling. So if we see anything out of the norm or whatever, and we want to tag it, we'll be like, okay, we'll document where we're at, like nurses station. It's like 1:10. We've been here about 15 minutes, that type of thing. So when we're looking in the video doing review, we kind of have an idea of where it's at, and it reminds us at the same time. Need to definitely get better at writing stuff down. But when you guys are like in the pitch black, in the dark, because we're always lights out, like we have IR lights, but we're in the dark. It is definitely hard to write stuff down. Russell.
For us, is the same. We tag the audio. If we got investigators in the room with us, we'll tag everybody's name who's in the room. I'll make everybody say hello, so all their voices are actually on the audio recorder. So when you're reviewing it later, you can hear the voices when you're interpreting your EVPs. And I always instruct everybody to speak at a normal voice, no whispering. If you make a noise, make sure you say you made a noise so that when the audio picks it up and we review it, we know that that was you. We also have forms that have all the investigation stuff on it for the team leads that fill out where the cameras are, what they've experienced in that room, what the weather's like, if it's full moon, temperatures, what the EMF fields are in the location after we do our base readings. And when, like, we're in the pitch dark too, but we'll use like a red flashlight when we're writing it out. I'll wear like a red headlamp on my head and I'll be there jotting it down while everybody else is investigating. And then if we experience something physical, that also goes on that form and stuff like that. So that's a good little tip to use in the location. We also have client forms too, questionnaires, standard permission forms, client confidentiality agreements, all that stuff. So
Russell's all fancy over there in his neck of the woods.
yeah, it's liability when you with
Oh, absolutely.
you deal with a lot of that liability, and you want to make sure you're covered when you go into a location.
Sure.
So that way the client can't sue you.
Correct.
And even on our forms, it states about our equipment. If they grab our equipment and they damage it, they're financially responsible to replace that piece of equipment. And it's vice versa for my team. If my team goes in and destroys something on accident, they have to financially replace that for the owner of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing to take into consideration if you want to do the residential side of it, all of the liabilities that go with it.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Brandy.
I guess that the documenting is basically what we're doing through the whole entire thing on our audio and our video. We're documenting everything and we're talking about it. But if something major happens that we would think that needs noting, it's like we stop and then we automatically say what everything we have to say into our audio or into the video. That way that everything is documented right there. So we don't have to, like, we don't want to lose paper. We don't want to lose this or that. Everything is documented all in one area. So when we go back, we're like, okay, so she experienced footsteps and a cold breeze or anything like that. We just document it right there. We stop, we do it. And that way it's all there. We don't have to try and do anything in the dark. Because I'm terrible, when I'm trying to do stuff in the dark, I'll end up writing words that I can't read later.
Yep.
Well, one thing I'll add to it, when you do your audio, and I know you guys do this, you want to say the date, the time, where you're at. You want to say, hey, I'm in this second room on the left on the west wing. It's 10:30 at night. It's 12:25. You want to say those things so that you got an accurate depiction of where you are and what you're doing at that time. So I got to add that too. So.
Yep. It actually it is very helpful. And like when three of us are running, we all turn our EVP recorders or our digital recorders on at the same time. And if Tim's talking, we don't say anything. We just let him because it carries to all of our equipment. So one person speaks. What tips, because we all know and love reviewing evidence.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when it's on the camera. So first of all, what tips, I guess we'll just do it that way. What tips do you have for reviewing evidence? Because we know, like Brandy mentioned earlier, it can be like watching paint dry on a wall. What are some things that you guys do while watching that footage? Or if you have like the security cameras that don't have any audio, what are some tips that they can do while they're doing that to keep them focused and not like drift off into a dream state or whatever, staring at a screen that doesn't have much movement?
I mean, is there Is there something you can do? That happens to me all the time. You're like, okay, and you just start leaning over like you want to lay
Yeah.
down, take a nap. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. I was just gonna say, try to take breaks because after a while, it's all gonna start kind of running together, anyways.
Correct.
If you're just sitting there trying to watch all of it, it's just gonna all start running together. Try to take breaks so you can stay focused. You can come back to it and be like, okay, I can actually pay attention to this now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't ever do it
especially
while
when
you're
you go
typing.
into a location for like 8
Yeah.
hours,
Yeah.
and that's 8 hours of footage
Yeah.
that you got to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I
Russell?
do audio, I do 15-minute sessions. That way I can cut it up myself.
Yeah.
That way I kind of like, if I'm drifting off, then the next one comes on and then you hear my voice booming loud again,
Right.
telling us where we are, what time, what session we're in. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, we're back. Okay. So,
Yeah.
and then it, like I said, it makes it easier, like she said, to break it up into sections. That way you're just not sitting there
Yeah.
staring at it.
When you do an EVP session, don't do it for an hour.
Yeah.
Limit your time on EVP session, because believe me, it's just like watching a video. After a while you're like, okay. So, pick how much time you want to do an EVP session. I mean, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it be, and stick with that. And if you do it in the same room, do a 10-minute one, do a 10-minute one, whatever. Don't try to do an hour altogether. And then, watch. I got security cameras. I'll tell you what, do it like an hour at a time and take a break, because otherwise you're going to be there forever. Don't fast forward, because you'll miss something.
Yeah.
Don't fast forward.
Something helpful that I'll bring up here is that normally when you start getting a little bit of activity, and then for sure that this is paranormal activity, start throwing everything you have at it, every recorder, video, it just your REM pods, everything, throw everything you have at it, because you probably have about 15 minutes before it's going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
It is, if you'll notice that when you're investigating, it's never just a constant. It's like it'll go 15 minutes and then it'll quit. And usually that's when, we do the 15 minutes of throwing everything we have on it. And then when it starts dying down again, that's where we do all of our documentations, talking about what happened and everything. And then we make sure everything's okay. And then we start again. So that kind of helps when you're investigating. And then when you're reviewing evidence, then you know what you can, where you need to document, okay, this happened, this happened, this happened. And that's where your pen and paper come in handy. So you can see if there's any trends or anything that you're noticing in a certain location, because you might find out, hey, you know what, every 47 minutes, something happens. It's not every 30 minutes, every 47 minutes. It's like, that's when I find out things. So when I go back to that location, if I'm doing a private investigation, especially, then I know what I'm looking for.
Russell?
For me, it's the same thing. We're running sometimes 16 DVR cameras straight. So I'll watch about an hour. I'll do one camera a day, watch an hour of it, take a break. I'll write down on my paper my timestamp off, and then I'll go back to it. But it's drinking a lot of coffee, a lot of caffeine to fight, stay awake. Same with audio. We only do 15-minute sessions for EVPs. And then when I listen to them, I'll cut them as I go. I'll cut out what I hear and clean it up as I go. So that way you're not sitting there having to go all the way back after you listen to the whole thing. You can actually,
Correct.
my program I use WavePad, so I can actually cut that section out and then amplify it.
Yeah.
Go
That
on.
works really well. Yep.
Yep, that's what I do too. I must be the weird one, because I can take out my recorder, my digital recorder, and plug in my earphone, and I can listen to like audio like all day. Like, I just listen to one, and then I'll listen to the next one, and then the next one. But when it comes to watching camera footage, I struggle. I really do.
That's where I have my problem. The audio is fine. It's just that you're just sitting there going, okay,
Yeah.
we're looking at the same dresser. Okay, here it goes. You
Yeah.
know, and you're just sitting there,
Yeah.
and then moving around sometimes. This is kind of like, oh my gosh. I don't know
Yeah.
about anybody else, but man, you start feeling like a little woozy. You're like, okay, we're moving
You
here, we're
do.
moving there,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And then you have that little bit of a glimpse of something. You're like, wait, and then you rewind it, and then you play it like 3 times, and there's nothing there, and you're like,
Nothing there.
man, I saw something.
Yeah, you're like, that wasn't right.
Yeah. That's from the
Yeah.
Hawaiian. That's from the Hawaiian cold coffee. That's what that's from. So
So, one thing nobody has hit on tonight that we are going to hit on before we get done, and that's a debunking.
Yes.
Do you think debunking is a good thing to do? And what are some of the things you do to debunk something?
You should always debunk first. Not everything is paranormal. That is one thing I would say.
exactly.
You know, and before you even start an investigation, whether it be residential or a big location, you should have a baseline reading of what's going on. Like, where are the outlets? What goes off here?
Is
You know,
power to the building.
yes,
Is the
always.
air on? Is the windows open? Has it been vandalized?
Yeah,
You know,
things like that. You know, and then as you're going, because at an investigation this past weekend I was at, you know, we had something happening, and you know, first thing we did was try to debunk it, and it ended up being something simple. It was an old building, so the floor was affecting this cabinet a little bit, but everyone was kind of jumping to, oh, it's paranormal. Not always paranormal, as much
Sure.
as we all want it to be. That's the thing. A lot of the time, I mean, and don't get me wrong, there is plenty of stuff that happens that's unexplainable. You know, but there is a lot of stuff that you can explain if you just take the time to look into your surroundings and what's going on.
So, how did you figure out that the floor was the issue for the cabinet?
So we had kind of put it together because it didn't take much. So no one was actually like walking, but we were like, well, you know, this person was kind of bouncing. Maybe it was that. So we had them do it again. And sure enough, when they did that, then it sounded like the cabinet was shaking again.
Sure.
And that is definitely debunking.
Yes.
Joe Kress, he agreed with something that we were talking about. I think it was, I don't know, whatever. Oh, reviewing the evidence.
Mhm.
So, Russell, what do you guys? I'm pretty sure we all debunk here. So,
Mhm.
For us, is even residential debunking doors opening, and I mean, with doors opening, you can cause a door to open by a suction to another door. You can pull,
Mhm.
you only shut maybe that much. You pull that other door, and that door opens up.
Right.
Or the floor could be uneven. You get that funhouse feeling, which can be debunked because, like I was talking earlier, with weather, frost in the ground, warped wood. A lot of your old houses have that knob tube wiring, which throws off a lot of high EMF fields, and it causes a lot of shorts and lights. So blinking lights
Sure.
can be explained. I always recommend for our clients to have an electrician come in first and experience blinking lights and let them check the electricity before we come out there, because if not all the time lights blinking is paranormal, it's either a short
Yeah.
or a break, and that's where my construction background comes in, my electrical and plumbing stuff. Because old pipes bang, they get air in the lines, so that can start banging. You're hearing from the basement. Heating ducts, when the fluctuation of the furnace bang the
Mhm.
heating ducts in a house, make you think you're hearing something banging on the ceiling down in the basement, stuff like that. There's a lot of things, and that stuff throws off the high EMFs again too. That
Sure.
causes hallucination. Windows swell when it it's warm out, and a lot of them won't open. In fact, my cousins dealt with one at the Conjuring house with a window that wouldn't shut, and he slammed on the floor, and the window slammed right back down. So
Mm,
a lot of vibration in houses can cause that foundation.
sure.
And he was talking about the debunking. He agrees on that part. Absolutely. Do you, Tim or Brandy, do you have anything different than what's been said as far as debunking goes?
I would always say, always do that first. Find the logical explanation before you go to the paranormal, and then when you're reviewing this evidence and everything. But if my rule of thumb is when in doubt, throw it out. If you can't say for sure if this was paranormal or not, if there could be an explanation, well, just throw it out. Just
Sure.
You might as well just not put it out there. Because the thing is with a lot of this is I like to share the information that I do get, and how I, came to that conclusion or things like that with other people, just to get the information out there. And sometimes I do share evidence. And if I'm not going to put my name on a piece of evidence that I know for sure somebody be like, oh, well, that happened. You could do that. This is what happened.
Sure.
And I'm not going to do that. So that is my rule of thumb. When in doubt, throw it out. Always take your pictures in a set of 3. So if something is moving or in the picture, you can be able to watch it move. Sometimes 5, depending on how long this thing you can get in camera. If you're taking a picture and it's there, take as many pictures as you can. That's all I got to say until it goes away. That is my thing. But debunking is a big part of what we do. Absolutely. We have to find the logical before we jump to the paranormal.
Yep.
I agree with what everybody said. Debunking is essential because you want to know exactly what you found. And I'll use a quote: "When you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, how improbable must be the truth." That's Sherlock Holmes. That works in paranormal too. But when you look at paranormal, first think about the word paranormal. What does it mean? Normal is normal. Paranormal is outside the normal. So you're looking for something outside the normal. When you do a baseline, as they see, paranormal said there, one thing that I find that gets you are telephone landlines. Be aware of them, because if you get near them and they got some kind of contamination, they will set off your K2 meter, and they'll set off your meter. They'll set off your device. Because be careful, because if it transmits across the room from one box to another, you'll get a K2 meter reading every time. So be aware of doing baseline and doing it very well.
Yeah,
as far as that goes.
walkie-talkies, baby monitors. I mean, anything like that's going to put out
Yeah.
that for
Set it
you.
off. So be very aware of that. But if you don't debunk, then everything you got, you're going to throw it on YouTube as paranormal. Believe me. And you think you're the best investigator in the world.
I think everybody on here though is like y'all are pretty level-headed, and pretty much like everything you guys have been saying tonight is on the same page, spot on. So like this actually was a really great panel to have on. I'm so excited. Yay. Anybody out there watching have any last questions? And for you guys, give me a don't tip. Like an absolute do not do. Different than what we've talked about so far. Like,
Do not trespass.
what's that, Russell?
Do not trespass to a location.
Do not trespass. Absolutely. Get permission always.
Yes, exactly.
Mine's pretty easy. Don't wear uncomfortable shoes. Don't wear shoes that make noise. I mean, there's a lot of like tennis shoes out there that when they walk, they squeak, and wear something comfortable and quiet. That's all I got to say about that.
Gabi?
Yeah.
I mean, don't go in with a negative attitude.
Perfect.
Like, Not necessarily like, don't go in provoking. Don't go in like, if you're just in a bad mood, just don't do it.
Just
Hmm.
don't.
Yeah.
Just
Tim?
when you're investigating, don't everybody talk at once. Bad thing to do because then you get contamination, something terrible. And if you're in different parts of a building, do not be floor above floor because you're going to get that contamination across it. I mean, literally, if you're in a small building, 2 people at a time. If you're in a big building, get across the building from each other. Try to stay out of each other's way and don't cross contaminate your investigation.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. All good tips. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for being on the show with us tonight. It's been a pleasure. If you guys want to reach out to anybody, again, Russell is with Beyond Life Paranormal, Beyond Life Research Paranormal,
Beyond Life Paranormal Research, Missouri.
Beyond Life Paranormal Research. Brandy is with Blondes and Booze and Cryptids and a whole bunch of other stuff. Tim is part of the Paranormal Girls and Tim. And then God Be Paranormal. The Wendy Bros, they chimed in a little bit tonight. It would have been cool for them to be on. Anyway, I'm going to end the live stream. Please hang on with me. It'll come up. That's a wrap. When I come back to you, then you can pop off. But it helps with all of that stuff. Anything else before I end that you guys want to say?
Be
Yes.
safe.
Yeah, call me. Let's go find a Bigfoot.
Anybody else?
Stay safe out there.
Yeah, get out there and have fun.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, enjoy yourself when you do it. Have fun.
All right. Good night, everybody. We will be back next Wednesday with Goose Flats Paranormal. So you guys will want to check in for that podcast and see what they're doing out in Arizona. All right. One moment.